Anyhow, so you see I've started sanding and shaping the wing, and I left a couple of openings so that I can continue to take the flaps out as part of the shaping process. What I want to avoid is scalloping and unevenness around the joints here and here. If I leave the flaps in and I'm sanding on this, I could round into the opening, and I don't want to do that. And I want to make sure that the flaps contour is the same as the wing contour on the bottom back of the wing, trailing edge of the wing. So it's tricky. A couple things. One, I laid in a piece of 16th balsa right along this edge here, and that was to close up the gap. I haven't done it on this side yet, so you can see how much wider the gap is here than here. Flaps still have room to swing down, so I'll be adding the same trim strip here, and it goes on the onto the wing side and not the flaps side. If it goes onto the flap side, it would bind as the flaps rotated downward. So as long as it's on the wing side like this, it won't interfere with the rotation of the flap. See? So there's that. Shaping the leading edge, the wing needs to be quite a bit thinner in profile, so a lot of material has to come off of the bottom, and much less so off the top. Now, that said, you can see we still have quite a ways to go here. But what I'll be doing is using filler, and then as I sand down into the filler, eventually we'll get through it right to the tops of these ribs, and that's when I'll know that that's where I need to be. So whatever the filler has done between now and then will be sufficient on the stringers, and then constant and continuous applications of the filler as we're sanding into the finer grits of sandpaper. Now I'm starting here with 60, really coarse, and that's because I'm shaping, getting rid of all the extra leading edge. Remember, the leading edge was rectangular, a piece of balsa spar material, and well, it's pretty well sanded to the leading edge profile. It's still quite a bit, thicker than it needs to be, but we're getting there. And on this side, you can see still a few flat spots here and here. So more sanding along this bottom edge. And one of the things about layering, instead of going with one solid heavy piece of balsa, I layer on so that I can see this detail when I start sanding. So here I've sanded right through the topmost layer into the second layer, and when I get to the actual wing leading edge part, this is the part that came in the kit here, I'll be able to see that layer begin to show up here. So I should see top layer probably right around here when I get to where I want to be. Second layer out to where this top layer is revealing now, and then I should be able to see that actual Guillow's wingtip part just out here along the edge when I get this sanded down the way I need. So again, we're sanding into the wingtip this way. We're sanding a leading edge profile along the bottom, and then we're sanding a trailing edge profile into the trailing edge. And when all of that is said and done, we should end up with a decent airfoil shape on the bottom, similar, not quite the same, but similar to what we have on top. Alright, it might be a little bit flatter here, but that's fine because that's where the landing gear doors have to sit. how we can see the layer effect too. A little rough in this spot here, and that's because we're getting close to this area and it's riding high and then diving. The sanding block is riding high here and then diving in. So I'll be taking these off periodically. I've already done that once, but periodically, and then sanding these separately so that I get this a nice straight across reveal here. And then I can also sand here and across this back edge here, and then carry on this way. So when I'm sanding it here without the flap, we'll want to be crossing over this area on a diagonal like this, so that we're not diving into this edge and cutting up on that edge. So the shape of the sanding maneuver, if you want, will be like so. That'll be the technique. Across this edge, and that's after I've removed this flap from the area. But for now, we're just roughing it in, and that's why the 60 grit sandpaper, and that's why you're going to take your time working in sunlight, working outdoors, obviously. So much dust coming off this. It's pretty phenomenal. So, alright, so again, I'll need to have the landing gear installed and with the locking features working. On the initial, where I thought the machine gun openings would be, I was a little bit off, a little high. So I'm going to fill these on both sides with balsa, and then I'll cut the hole in the correct location for the locking mechanism. And just run it right through the stop lock here, so that the piece of piano wire can pass straight back into, hopefully catch this loop on the landing gear leg and work as a locking feature. Hopefully that's how it'll go. If not, I'll have to figure out another way to friction lock the landing gear down and up. But that's doable too. I did friction locks on the P40 landing gear, and that works. Keeps the gear up when it's up and holds it down when it's down, so it works well enough. This locking feature, I just want to try and follow the Guillow directions and kit engineering and try to get that done that way. It's fine if it doesn't work out. Alright, here on the wingtips, on the top surface, you can see the layering works here the same way. It helps me to judge the shape of that wingtip profile a couple of different ways, by sighting, obviously by looking at it this way and along the edge, but also looking right down over the top. I can see if the reveals are the same on both sides, the wingtip should be cut and sanded properly on both sides. It would be identical. This one's still a little bit raised compared to this. You see this is down. Much wider reveal here in the second layer on that edge than there is here. This is a little bit skinnier profile, so more sanding. Alright, hope that helps. At least that's an explanation of what I'm doing. For the belly pan, I've got all the parts for that, and they fit in under here. And then we'll run stringers along the bottom of the fuselage to tie these in, and then infill them as we do, not this, but infill. And then this is called, I guess, sheeting. This would be sheeting, and this is infill. Anyway, we'll be infilling these after their stringers are run and everything. This is when the wings are attached to the airplane, and then cleaning it up, sanding it, and using filler to get it nice and smooth. Alright, that's where we're at on the project to date. I should have some more videos to post soon. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.